Here's a nice short review for you guys for a nice Saturn day. Virtua Fighter Kids is pretty much a reworked version of Virtua Fighter 2, or at least that's the best way I can describe it. It was released during the summer of 1996 and is a great example of just how crazy SEGA could be during their heyday. I mean, really, who else would make a game like this? As a matter of fact, the only game that I can think of on the Saturn that's even remotely as silly as this one just so happens to be another fighter that SEGA created. But I'm gonna cover that one another day. Virtua Fighter Kids uses the Virtua Fighter engine and for the most part is the exact same game, just with greatly deformed characters with squeaky high voices. The backgrounds of all the arenas have also been given a once-over to look like playgrounds and other places you might find kids. It's a little off-putting if you actually think about the subject matter here, what with kids beating the living hell out of each other, but if you leave your brain at the door, you're gonna have an absolute blast with this game. In terms of gameplay, the same movesets and roster from Virtua Fighter 2 are featured in Virtua Fighter Kids, although I find the action to be much less floaty and therefore tighter and more responsive. Thanks to the shorter characters, the Saturn is able to process the polygons at blistering fast speeds, and therefore the gameplay is much faster as a result. Overall, this is a really great 3D fighting game on the SEGA Saturn. Outside the typical arcade and versus mode, you also have access to a really robust combo maker where you can create up to 20 combos and save them to the Saturn's internal memory. This is particularly useful for the hardcore Virtua Fighter 2 fans out there. There's also a demonstration mode where you can set two PC characters to face off against one another so you can learn the animations of the attacks. Now, I never really found much use for this mode, but hey, I guess it looks cool. Virtua Fighter Kids is a perfect example of the SEGA of old. In Japan, the game was used as a promotional item for Java Tea and Energy drink brands, and featured a wide assortment of product placement. However, all of those were removed for the Western release. Virtua Fighter Kids is a really fun and robust fighter on the Saturn, and even though it's silly, its gameplay is anything but. If you're looking for a Saturn fighter that is wacky and over the top, yet retains the awesome gameplay you've come to expect from the Virtua Fighter series, this is a fantastic game to pick up. The Japanese version goes for around $10 including shipping, and the North American version is usually a little bit more at the $30 to $40 price point. Given the low asking price, I personally think it's well worth checking out.
Hey!